What is going on, Trash Talkers? We're back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the news that the Buffalo Bills may move and how the NFL should realign if this were to happen. All that and much more coming your way right now! All right, Nick, as we talked about in yesterday's video, the Buffalo Bills are threatening to leave Buffalo, New York, and possibly end up in a place such as Austin, Texas. And I believe that this is just a veiled threat to get the city of Buffalo to pay for the new stadium. If you guys are interested in hearing more about that, check out yesterday's video. We go into depth about that. But if this were to happen, if the Bills were to somehow actually make the move from Buffalo, New York to Austin, Texas, and this were to get approved, I would have to imagine that this would spark some sort of realignment in the NFL because the Buffalo Bills are in the AFC East. And again, I understand that the Dallas Cowboys are in the NFC East, but this would spark a much needed change for the NFL where specific teams are only there because of the rivalries they used to have or whatever the case is. I think it would be time that the NFL start to realign these divisions. And it doesn't need to be crazy. I know some people think, getting rid of the conferences altogether is a good idea, or just combining the East into one and then the West into one. I just don't like all of that. So I came up with an idea, and I want to get your thoughts on it. Essentially, if the Buffalo Bills were to move, my idea would be to move the Buffalo Bills to the AFC South, take the Colts, put them in the AFC North, and then take the Ravens and put them in the AFC East. That way, you are eliminating the massive distance that would be created from this move, and you're creating essentially new rivalries. I understand that the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens are a massive rivalry, but new rivalries will be built. And I believe that at the end of the day, this would help the NFL, specifically the AFC, if the Buffalo Bills were to move to Austin.
And honestly, I think it's a really good idea, even if the Bills decide to stay in Buffalo. We could still take the Colts and move them into the North, put the Ravens into the East, like you said, but then take the Miami Dolphins and move them into the AFC South. That way, the NFL just makes a little bit more sense in the way teams are laid out and the divisions they are playing in. Because right now, honestly, when you think of the Colts and playing in the South, you're like, what? Don't they play in Indiana? Well, yeah, they do. It really doesn't make any sense. And the Cowboys, they play in Texas, right? It's in the middle of the country in the South, too. Yeah, that's not the East. So why are they in the East? These things just don't make sense. And they really do need to be fixed. Even if the Bills decide to not move out of Buffalo, I still believe that the NFL should really consider a realignment. It really would go a long way and help a lot of these teams out. The Cowboys have to travel to the East Coast 3 times a season when their division rivals only have to face them and go to them once a year. The additional travel for the Cowboys and for the Colts is just ridiculous compared to their divisional opponents. So I really think that the NFL should really explore this route and consider these changes as we've laid out.
Yeah, I would also say you talked about the Dallas Cowboys. Well, I mean, for the NFC, it's pretty simple. I would say that we move the Carolina Panthers to the east and we take the Dallas Cowboys and move them to the south. It's a quick swap. I think that at the end of the day, you're making it much easier for these teams to not only travel to their games, but with everything that's going on in the world, this would allow for you to have much easier time with fan bases traveling and people getting to games and still being able to capitalize on the revenue that you have. On top of the fact that it'd be a nice change for the NFL to shake things up a little bit in a way that not only would shake things up but also make sense. It would help realign this football league to say all of these divisions are now with teams that are in their areas versus having to go across the country for a divisional matchup that these teams really don't want to have to do.
And this change would not require much work on the part of the NFL or these teams. They don't need to change locations, their fan bases will stay the same. They just have to go and travel to teams closer to them, which in the long run is actually better for everybody involved. So I see no bad reasons as to why these changes shouldn't be made. So the NFL really should consider this. The teams should bring this up. The owners should be bringing this up every single offseason, because if I'm Jerry Jones or I'm Jim Irsay, I don't want my opponents to have a competitive advantage just because they don't have to travel as far as I do. My players are jet lagged. They don't want to travel, and they're going to perform much better if they don't have to travel as far. So that's something I would definitely be pressing the NFL about.
Absolutely. And I will say that, you know, while this is a great idea, this video idea was brought to us by one of our subscribers. So I want to encourage all of you guys, if you have an idea that you want us to cover, please feel free to put it down in the comments below. Feel free to DM us on Twitter. We have our Discord available for you. So go check that out. If you have video ideas that you want us to take a look at, we would absolutely be able to do that. But I appreciate you all for watching. Make sure to comment down below and let us know what you think about this realignment. I want to hear what you guys have to say, especially from the Cowboys fans and all the teams that would be affected by this. I want to hear what you guys have to say. All right, well, that's going to do it for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.